Hello. So I've been talking about privacy in the email newsletter, so I thought I'd make a short video to tell you just what it is and a little bit about it. If you've already got the book or it's on its way to you, then this will cover some of the things in the introduction and part of the first chapter. And if you haven't got the book, then it'll give you a bit of an introduction to what privacy is all about, although it doesn't cover everything that's in the book by any means. So I thought I'd start by explaining what is privacy. Now, I'm not sure if there's an official definition, but the one I use is that it's keeping the things that you want to keep private from other people, private from them. The thing I'd stress is that it's not about keeping everything private, and it's not about keeping it private from everyone. There are things that you'll want other people to know about. For example, if you're writing an email to someone, you want the person you're writing it to be able to read it, but you don't want other people to be able to read it. Depending on what's in it, you might not be too bothered, but you don't really want everyone to be reading it. So the other question that people always ask is, why does it matter? Well, the first answer is just that it can be a bit creepy. Some people find it a bit peculiar or a bit weird when people know so much about you without you realising it. You might have had this when you've been searching for something on the internet and then suddenly you get adverts for that very thing. And that can seem a bit odd, a bit off-putting. Particularly if it's a different device. I've had this where I've been looking at something on a tablet and then I go and use my computer and suddenly I'm getting adverts for the thing I looked at on the tablet, and that seems a bit peculiar. And it can be even more than that. I found that Google in particular literally know where I've been. I don't mean where I've been on the web, I mean physically where I've been. They can actually track me. So for example, when I went on holiday last year, they knew where I'd been, where I'd stayed, what places I'd visited while I was there, and even what time I left to go back to the cottage I was staying in and what route I drove back. And it's not because I was using their sat-nav or because I'd booked it through them or anything. So that could be a little bit creepy or a little bit off-putting. And another example, although this probably doesn't apply to you, but who knows, criminals can actually use some clever software on your computer to try and take over your webcam, or the webcam on your computer, or the one built into your tablet or smartphone, and literally watch what you're up to. And they can do the same thing with the microphone. As I say, chances are it hasn't happened to you, but who knows? And that's definitely pretty creepy if you could think that someone's actually watching what you're up to. So that's the first reason why privacy matters. The second reason is that the information people can be gathering can be used for all sorts of things that you really don't want to happen, particularly identity theft. Identity theft is a bit of a vague term, but for example, some of the information that people could gather about you could be used to change the address on your bank account to their address so that they then can get access to it. Or just to pretend to be you and set up a loan where they take the money and you get lumbered with the loan until you can prove that it wasn't really you. Or similarly set up a credit card and spend on it to buy things they want, but you get lumbered with the bills until you prove it wasn't you. So it is something to take seriously. I mean, sometimes people say, well, it's all right because all this information being gathered by Google and Facebook and Microsoft and the government and so on, I trust them all, so it's all right. And I understand that, but I always ask, you trust the organisation, but do you trust every single last person who works there? And do you trust them never to get hacked or to leave a laptop on a train like has happened a few times? And it's not even just about that. It's not just those organisations that are storing information on you. It's also the criminals themselves who might be able to track exactly what you're doing, depending on your setup. One of the things that I was very keen on in the book is not to tell everyone what to do. There are different levels of privacy, and it's up to you to decide what level you're happy with. And most people will be somewhere in between. For example, if you have no privacy at all, well, most people want to have some curtains on their bedroom window and things like that, and you wouldn't be happy with having your credit card information written on the front of your coat or anything like that so that everyone who walked past could see it and use it to buy their own things. So you want some level of privacy. And at the other extreme, There are people who create a whole fake identity so no one knows it's really them, and they'll use something called a Faraday cage handbag to keep their phone in, so no one can even tell that it's turned on. Of course, while it's in there it won't ring either, which you could argue defeats the point of a mobile phone. So most people want something somewhere in between there. So I think everyone has to decide for themselves what level they're happy with, what things they're happy with being stored and being known about them. But in order to do that, you need to know what is being collected. Before you can know that, well, I'm happy with Google knowing this, but not with them knowing that, you need to know what this and that are that they might actually be storing and be finding out about you. So one of the things the book does is explains all that, explains what information Google and Facebook and all the rest have on you and how they do it, so that you can decide whether you are happy with each individual bit. And then it also goes on to show what you can do about it, what you can do to stop certain things. Now, I'm not saying that you should do all of these things, but once you've decided which bits you're happy with and which bits you're not happy with, you can take the bits you're not happy with and do something to stop that from happening. And the book shows you how to do that in a nice clear way as well. If you want to know a bit more about it, or if you want to order a copy of the book, there should be a couple of buttons underneath this video to take you to a web page where you can either order a copy or read the full information about the book in more detail than I can go into in this video. Or if you're watching this video on Facebook or YouTube or anything like that where you can't see the buttons, the web address to go to should be on the screen now, and you can just type that into your web browser and find out more, and if you like, order a copy of the book. So I hope you found that interesting and you've learned a little bit more about privacy and what it is and why it matters. And thank you for watching and listening.